My 32M wife, 29F, sobs uncontrollably when I tell her I'm upset. Hey Reddit, my M32 wife, F29, is a good, kind person, and I love her. We're both sensitive. The big issue is mismatched libidos, mine high. Hers is more of a reactive libido where she gets in the mood after I initiate sexual contact. We're in sex therapy because she never really explored her sexuality before marriage, introverted, didn't discuss with her one best friend. Therapy is about slowly introducing non-penetrative stuff to find her likes. My main struggle isn't her refusing sex, she's mostly willing, but that she never initiates. For me, her initiating is a huge sign of desire and validation. She says she wants to, but doesn't know how. This creates a painful cycle. She promises to try initiating. I wait 7-10 days, opportunities pass, she doesn't. I eventually look visibly upset. I try to be calm if I say anything, like, you said you'd initiate but didn't. She sees my face, then has a severe breakdown, sobbing, saying I'll leave, even hitting herself for being stupid. It's frightening and I worry she'll develop anxiety around this. I end up consoling her, even though I was the one hurting. This repeats. I'm finding it hard. I've started unconsciously avoiding being in bed at the same time as her, partly work, partly just to avoid the feeling of rejection. I feel constantly rejected and keep thinking, maybe she's just not that into me. Maybe with someone else, she wouldn't have to try so hard. Other things fuel these feelings. Sometimes she just doesn't respond when I talk to her, says she was thinking or thought she replied in her head. She rarely dresses up, though I get this wasn't her upbringing. She forgets things in bed I like, that she's fine doing, unless reminded, and doesn't do the research our therapist suggested. All this makes me wonder if she's taking me for granted and deepens my insecurity about her attraction. It's confusing because otherwise, she's very loving, cooks, cuddles, wants my time, complains if I don't feed her playfully, an Indian culture expression of endearment. I admit I've become less affectionate over time, but I feel I've given enough time for some basic effort. Even getting her to therapy was a struggle, making me doubt her commitment to fixing this. I feel myself withdrawing and getting angry because it feels like my needs are ignored. Some context. Known her 3 years. Broke up once, which I think traumatized her. She has a huge fear I'll leave. I've constantly reassured her I'm committed and don't believe in divorce, even saying I'd find a way to cope if the sex thing never fully resolves. We're both Indian and live in India. I understand the cultural repression around female sexuality, and our values mostly align. So, Reddit, any insights? Am I messing up badly? I'm worried about her, the impact my sadness has, and how I can cope productively and support her better. Was her libido zero when you met? She won't change if that's the case. Maybe you should just accept her reactive desire and initiate sex, instead of waiting for her to feel differently and getting resentful and sad. She needs individual therapy. Her reaction is extreme and unhealthy. Have you considered giving her indirect ways to initiate? Like wearing a specific piece of jewelry or leaving a figurine on the nightstand or something like that to indicate she wants or is open to sex? If your wife has responsive desire as you stated, it's very difficult for her to initiate sex. She won't actually want to have sex when she is initiating. What happens if she doesn't get in the mood once things get started? Is she supposed to go along with it or stop once you are excited? Have you discussed these things? The hitting herself and making it about her so you have to comfort her is just manipulative. Has she always been like this? My 28F boyfriend, 29M, never has breakfast foods for me when I stay over. I need to know if I'm being irrational about this. I have a medication that I need to take every morning with a high-protein breakfast. I stay at my boyfriend's house 1 or 2 nights a week, and I've made it clear that I need breakfast before 11 so I can take the medication. I've offered to make us breakfast, bring my own, etc., but he always says he has it covered. But when the morning comes he asks me what I want to do, where I want to go out to, if I can pick us up something, or if he should drive to the supermarket to get ingredients for us to make breakfast. I appreciate him offering to put in the effort in the morning, but I really need to be able to eat within an hour or so of waking. The only way we can do this is if we get breakfast delivered, but that is expensive and usually not the healthiest breakfast, but just the only way I can have it on time. I tried raising this with him but he got annoyed and thinks I'm being ungrateful because he does do a lot in our relationship, but it's just this one thing that I really need but he isn't working to fix. Suggestions on what I can do? I've offered to make us breakfast, bring my own. And suggestions on what I can do? Simple. Then bring your breakfast no matter what he said. And if he asks you, just remind him what happened the last time and he will shut his mouth. When you say he does a lot in your relationship, what do you mean specifically? Just start bringing things that work for your breakfast and see if he reacts weirdly about it. This seems almost like some kind of weird power trip. He knows you medically require a decent breakfast, Repeatedly tells you that he's got it handled when he doesn't and gets mad at you for being ungrateful when you've offered to bring something yourself. If he could just be honest about not really having anything that would work for your nutritional needs. Bring your own food or stay at your place instead. I'm in the same boat where I need to take meds in the morning with food. No matter where I am or who I'm with, it's my responsibility to ensure I have what I need. You gave him a shot at having stuff ready for you. Live and learn. You gotta bring your own stuff. And that will always be the case. You're 28. Throw a protein drink and some protein bars in your purse or overnight bag. It's not rocket science. The town sheriff, M30, is in love with my little sister, F18. I don't know where else to go with this. I, 21M, live with my family in a small town where everyone knows everyone. My little sister, 18F, is a very nice girl, pretty, sweet, gentle, really religious and traditional. The town sheriff, 30M, has known our family for years. He was my father's friend from the military. They're both ex-military now. I used to think he was alright. Polite, serious, kind of intense, but respectful. That's changed, drastically. A few months ago, I started noticing how often he's around her. Like, way more than makes sense. She'd be at work, he'd happen to be patrolling that block. She's walking home, he pulls over to offer a ride. Once he stopped by our house when my parents were out, just to check on things, but he made it a point to ask if she was home. Not me, not our father, her. Then I found out he texted her 41 times in one day. She thought it was a little annoying, but assumed he was just being friendly. I finally saw one of the messages. It said, "You know I'd do anything for you." He also sends her money. Like what the actual hell? It gets worse. She told me last week he pulled her over late at night. Said her brake light flickered. Let her go with a smile. Her brake lights are perfectly fine. I checked them myself. A few nights ago, we were all at a bonfire and he reached for a beer bottle. His sleeve lifted and I swear to God, he has a tattoo of her name. In cursive, next to the date he met her. I couldn't stop staring. He didn't notice. I tried bringing it up to my dad. He brushed it off. Said the sheriff looks out for her like a little sister. But I know what I saw. And the way the sheriff talks about her? He sounds obsessed. I feel sick. My sister doesn't see it. My parents don't believe me. And I don't know what to do. I want to protect her, but the guy is literally the law in our town. I don't have proof. Just all this creepy stuff that's stacking up. Do I confront him? Do I warn her? Or do I just wait until something happens and it's too late? Update. Sorry, while replying to comments I realized I forgot some very important details. 1. My sister is engaged to a 20-year-old Army NCO. She really likes him and our parents also approve of him. He's very protective over her and she once tried to fight the sheriff, but I stopped him because I don't want him to do something stupid. Me and him are the only ones who know she's getting stalked. 2. My sister is not naive. She understands the guy has ill intentions. And she rejected him and blocked him, but he kept making more accounts. She doesn't see it as stalking though. 3. We live in a farm and the sheriff needs to drive like 30-45 minutes to get here. My sister also doesn't leave the farm often. We also have a big family and she has multiple sisters who always accompany when she goes out. 4. Our parents don't allow her to go to college. She also doesn't want to. She was homeschooled and has a very good education and good grades too. Your father is a fool. Or he has a deal where he is offering this kid to his friend. When I hear religious and traditional, it lends credence to this theory. She needs to go to school. Is she enrolled in college or a trade school? Get her a trackable device first and foremost. No, you don't have a 30-year-old town sheriff. You might have a 30-year-old county deputy, or you might be making the whole thing up. Towns don't have sheriffs, counties do. And the word sheriff on a deputy's uniform indicates what department they work for, not that each of them is personally the sheriff. Also, 30 is exceedingly young for a sheriff, though not impossible. Sounds like the pitch for a creepy, made-for-TV, B-movie. Please tell me that this is fanfiction. What's her life plan? College? It would be good for her to get some distance and that would help. Otherwise you just need to keep watch and maybe start going places with her. Also, if she's got good friends, get them involved, and accompanying her more as a group of girls is a far harder target for a creepy Leo. She was homeschooled and has good grades. How do you get bad grades when you're homeschooled? LMAO. My 27F husband 29M yells at me in public. My husband has to have a laptop for work and is recently broke. We went to buy a new one today and he got upset about the $1,000 spending limit that I set. He got visibly upset on the store and yelled across the computer section, "Why are you being a bitch?" This was also in front of our 6-year-old son. He then went to the car and didn't tell me. He yelled at me the entire drive home, with the windows down, at red lights, where other people could hear and see. He did this before, but it has been years. I haven't talked to him all day because I don't want to say things I don't mean. Do I leave him? Yes, you leave him. Main question. Do you want your son to think this is okay? Wait. Is this the same guy you posted about 3 years ago that hid your engagement ring and then pawned it? And spent it on something that he won't tell you about? If so, why in the world would you want to continue being in a relationship with that type of man? There's more than one man in the world to choose from. If not, you need to look deep and hard at the mirror and start making it a priority of why you keep choosing certain types of men. Yes. God, yes. Leave before he kills you. Forget the, in public, part. My husband yells at me, is enough. This is an abusive relationship. He wants to silence your voice. He wants you to be intimidated, he wants you to be too scared to stand up to him. There is no need for him to yell. You can hear what he is saying perfectly well at a normal conversational level. This is a deliberate choice in his part. He could control his volume and words if he wanted to. Please don't allow your son to grow up thinking that this is how relationships work. There are two options: he starts to treat you with respect, or he leaves. Completely unacceptable to do in public, but to do this in front of your impressionable child? That's disgraceful and shameful behavior on his part. I'm sorry this happened to both you and your son. He needs to understand the seriousness of his actions and take accountability for what he did. No, but I was, but you were. Zero excuse. Zero. Short of that, I'd tell him to leave, but even then you need to consider this a warning and keep yourself and your son safe from him. Divorce is likely your best option because he's not a good person. Children witnessing domestic abuse are being abused. Please do not let your son experience any more of this.